Hi there, this is Shawn Hansen, and I want to welcome you to this week's Sketchy Saturday. This week, I'm sticking close to home with my subject, Shelly's birthday, which happens to be on February 14th. So, a little cake, a little icing, a couple of pets, and a bit of humor are on today's agenda. I'm going to begin by sketching in some light lines to rough out what I plan to create before inking things in. So it's all about pencils and my eraser for now. Wait, where is my eraser? This sketching part of the process is equal parts amazing and scary for me. Whether or not I end up being happy with how my doodle turns out, there's a certain adrenaline rush that occurs that's triggered in part by my being terrified I won't be able to pull what's in my head out of my brain and get it on paper, coupled with the utter amazement that in the end, whatever is there is something I created out of thin air. And while I'm guessing you've heard of the runner's high, I'll bet you never knew there was a doodler's high, did you? Speaking of things you might or might not know, before the tradition of birthday cakes became widespread, birthday celebrations varied depending on the time period, culture, and social status of the individual. In ancient civilizations such as Greece and Rome, birthdays were often celebrated like religious rituals and featured ceremonies honoring gods and goddesses. These celebrations could involve offerings, prayers, and feasting, or a combination of those things. Among the aristocracy and royalty in medieval Europe, birthdays were celebrated with lavish feasts and banquets. Guests were invited to dine and to celebrate with the birthday person, and entertainment such as music, dancing, and performances were often included. The tradition of giving gifts to celebrate birthdays has its roots in ancient times. In some cultures, such as ancient Egypt, gifts were offered to pharaohs and royalty on their birthdays as a sign of respect and loyalty. In many cultures, birthday celebrations included games, contests, and entertainment to mark the occasion. These could range from simple outdoor games to more elaborate activities, depending on the social status and resources of the individual or family. In some cultures, families would prepare special meals or dishes to celebrate birthdays. These could be traditional recipes passed down through generations or special treats reserved just for these festive occasions. In addition to festivities, birthdays were often accompanied by rituals believed to bring good luck and ward off evil spirits. These might include lighting candles, making wishes, or performing ceremonies to ensure health, happiness, and prosperity through the coming year. In religious societies, birthdays were often commemorated with prayers, blessings, or visits to temples, churches, and other sacred sites. Religious leaders or elders might offer blessings and guidance for the birthday person's future. In tight-knit communities, birthdays were often celebrated communally, with neighbors, friends, and extended family members coming together to mark the occasion. Now, my favorite part of any birthday celebration is the cake. And the history of birthday cake, like birthday celebrations themselves, spans centuries and cultures. The tradition of celebrating birthdays with cake can be traced back to ancient civilizations. In ancient Greece, each year, people made round honey cakes to honor Artemis, the goddess of the moon. The round cake shape symbolized the moon, and the candles represented its glow. The Romans also celebrated birthdays, but it was most common among the elite class. They would often celebrate with lavish feasts and sweet treats, which sometimes included cakes. During the Middle Ages in Europe, birthday celebrations became more widespread, although it was still primarily only among the nobility and royalty. Cakes were often made with flour, yeast, nuts, and honey, which were more like bread than the sweet confections we know today. One of the earliest recorded instances of a birthday cake that's similar to what we consider a birthday cake today comes from Germany. During the 15th century Kinderfest, or Children's Festival, a cake known as Geburtstag was featured, and Geburtstag translates to the day on which one is born. My apologies if I butchered the German. During the Industrial Revolution, advancements in technology and the availability of ingredients meant baking was easier to do, which led to the popularization of birthday cakes beyond the aristocracy. The tradition of placing candles on birthday cakes is believed to have originated in ancient Greece. People would offer cakes adorned with lit candles to the gods as a form of tribute and prayer. The number of candles often symbolized wishes for the future. In the 19th and 20th centuries, as baking techniques continued to evolve and ingredients became even more affordable, birthday cakes became increasingly elaborate and varied in flavor and in design. Bakers started experimenting with different shapes, decorations, and flavors to cater to individual tastes and preferences. The commercialization of birthday cakes began in the early 20th century with the rise of bakeries and confectionery shops. Ready-made cake mixes and pre-made decorations also made it easier for people to celebrate birthdays at home. And today, birthday cake designs range from simple homemade cakes to elaborate professional creations that come in all sizes, shapes, and flavors. So, enough cake facts. How about a little cake fiction? In the charming town of Misty Meadows, nestled between rolling hills and whispering forests, the aroma of freshly baked pastries filled the air. At the heart of the town stood Misty Meadows Bakery, a cozy little establishment run by the renowned baker, Mrs. Hazelwood. With its warm ambiance and mouth-watering treats, the bakery was a beloved gathering spot for the townsfolk. One crisp autumn morning, as Mrs. Hazelwood bustled about the kitchen preparing for the day ahead, she made a startling discovery. The birthday cake she had meticulously crafted for her niece, Shelly, had vanished without a trace. The cake, a masterpiece of sugary delights, was adorned with a set of enchanted candles rumored to possess magical powers. Mrs. Hazelwood's heart sank as she surveyed the empty spot where the cake had once stood. How could such a thing happen, and what had become of the enchanted candles? Word of the missing cake spread quickly through Misty Meadows, igniting a flurry of speculation and gossip among the townsfolk. Some whispered of foul play, while others spoke about magical mischief being afoot. But amidst the confusion and concern, one thing was clear. The mystery needed to be solved fast to save Shelley's birthday. Enter feisty feline detective Cassie, a sharp-clawed sleuth with a keen eye for detail and a talent for solving the most perplexing of cases. With her loyal canine companion Griffin by her side, Detective Cassie set out to unravel the mystery that had befallen Misty Meadows. Their first stop was Misty Meadows Bakery, where Mrs. Hazelwood greeted them with a worried frown. She recounted the events of the previous evening. The cake had been prepared and set aside for pickup, but when she returned to the bakery in the morning, it was gone, along with the enchanted candles that adorned its top. As Detective Cassie examined the scene, her sharp gaze fell upon a peculiar set of paw prints leading to the bakery's back door. Griffin sniffed the air, his curly tail wagging furiously as he picked up the scent. "It seems you've had some unexpected visitors," Detective Cassie mused, as she followed Griffin and the trail of paw prints out into the bustling streets of Misty Meadows. The trail of paw prints led them to a quaint little cottage on the outskirts of town, where they encountered a peculiar trio of feline friends: Simon, Boots, and Poppy Sunshine. The cats, with their whiskers a-quiver and their tails twitching with anticipation, eyed Detective Cassie and Griffin with a mixture of curiosity and suspicion. "Good day, my friends," said Detective Cassie. "Might you know anything about a missing birthday cake?" The cats exchanged furtive glances, their eyes gleaming with mischief. Simon, the eldest of the group, stepped forward, his voice tinged with uncertainty. "We may know a thing or two," Simon admitted, "but we swear we had nothing to do with the disappearance of the cake. We were merely curious." Detective Cassie raised an eyebrow, intrigued by the cat's statement. It seemed she and Griffin had stumbled upon a clue, albeit an unexpected one. With the cat's help, Detective Cassie and Griffin embarked on a daring adventure through the winding streets and hidden alleyways of Misty Meadows. They followed a trail of crumbs and clues that led them ever closer to the truth. Their investigation took them deep into the heart of the enchanted forest, where they found a mischievous band of woodland creatures who had taken a liking to the sweet scent of Mrs. Hazelwood's cakes and decided to nab one for themselves. With a bit of persuasion and a handful of treats Detective Cassie had brought along, she and Griffin convinced the creatures to return the remaining cake and the magical candles, ensuring that Shelley's birthday celebration would be a magical one after all. As the sun set on Misty Meadows, the townfolk gathered in the town square to celebrate the return of the missing cake, which Mrs. Hazelwood had miraculously repaired, so one and all could celebrate the end of the mystery that had gripped their quaint little town, along with wishing Shelley a very happy birthday. Amidst the laughter and merriment, Detective Cassie and Griffin bask in the satisfaction of a job well done, their tails wagging in unison as they bid farewell to another day of adventure in Misty Meadows. I'm Shawn Hansen, and that's it for this Sketchy Saturday. If you enjoyed this video, it would mean a lot to me if you give it a thumbs up, maybe leave a comment if you're so inclined, and if you really want to make my day, tell a friend about my Sketchy Saturdays.